Hello YouTubers, this is Murr171. Today I'm bringing you the first video in my line of videos to find the perfect concealed carry weapon. Now this is a Wilson Combat Stealth. This is their compact 1911. It is considerably shorter on the slide and the handle. So it is meant to be a carry weapon. Now, the first of our criteria is concealability. This gun is very concealable for a 1911. Now that said, it's obviously kind of large, and being a full carbon steel frame, a little heavy. So it's going to lose a little bit of points on heavy, but it will probably pick those points back up in our control fire. So it's a good trade-off, I imagine. Now, for its concealability, I'm going to rate this gun at an 80. Due to it's obviously not a micro, it's obviously not a pocket gun, but there are lots of options for carrying a compact 1911. There are inside waistband holsters, shoulder holsters, small to back holsters. There are a number of holsters that you can use to carry a compact 1911. So it picked up some points with that. Next, and our number 2 criteria, and it's number 2 only because if it's not concealable, you won't carry it, is reliability. Concealed carry weapons must be reliable every time, without question. It must go off. It is the gun with you, so it's the only gun in your collection that matters if you end up needing it. So, this being a Wilson Combat, and hand fit, hand done, hand tested, and my personal experience with the firearm, I'm going to rate it at a full 100 points. Now, that brings us to our next topic, is power. Is it powerful enough to be a carry weapon? Will it put down an assailant? Will it put down a dog chasing your children, running at you? Will it be powerful enough to be useful? The answer coming from me is yes. The 38 Super is nicknamed the 9mm on steroids. This is a common 9mm round. This is a 38 Super round. Note that the 38 Super round has a larger case, a longer case, forgive me, and it's meant to hold more powder, more charge. It is quite a bit more powerful, coming in at around an average of 500 foot-pounds of energy. That is exactly in our criteria of where do we want power to be. Our most preferable stance for dealing with everyday today is 450 to 500 foot-pounds of energy. That's about the line that you're going to get between over-penetration and under-penetration while maintaining stopping force, transferable energy. So we're going to rate this at 100, being right dead in the middle between the two. Now there are rounds that are more powerful, but that brings us to our bullet selection, our next measure of criteria. Bullet selection for a 38 Super is there. It's not as abundant as a 9mm. There aren't just every gun manufacturer makes it, but it is there. These would be carbon hollow points. These are designed for self-defense. They are rather powerful. They come in at around 535 foot-pounds of energy, if memory serves. If memory doesn't serve, it may be 550, maybe 515. Still, obviously abundant. These come in slightly under 500. They would be what I call practice rounds. So Winchester white box, you can buy them most places. They are fairly common. But that brings us to our next criteria, which is versatility. Versatility is slightly limited with a limited bullet selection. By the way, bullet selection on this particular gun, I'm going with a 70, because though there are options, they are not abundant, and that is the way it is. But anyway, back to my next criteria, versatility. Being that Corbon makes plenty of rounds for hunting, defense, and target shooting, and so do many other companies, especially for target practice. 38 Super is a very popular competition gun. Forgive me, I have my cows in the background. So with versatility, we are going to give this gun a 90. Since it is moderately limited, but it does cover all the basics. Which brings me to my next point about the limit. That's going to cost you. The cost for 38 Super rounds, I want to say, averages around $26 to $28 for a box of 50 target rounds. And around $20 to $25 for a box of self-defense rounds. So, no, it's not cheap like a 9mm. In fact, it's even more expensive than a .45 for ammo cost. And due to that, I'm going to rate it at about a 60. It's not that cheap to shoot. Now, of course, this criteria is voided by anybody who plans to reload. It reloads about the same as every other straight case handgun cartridge. Now, for my next criteria is going to be a point and shoot at 10 feet. Since over 90% of hostile engagements in real world circumstances happen within 10 feet, we're going to limit the test to 10 feet. This is simply going to be a grab and fire exercise. Alright, now I'm going to put the score in commentary on the picture because I'm not looking at the timer. I will score it between saying go and firing the shot. This is one round to accurately put the bullet through intended target. This is if you had to grab your gun in a hurry. So let's proceed. Go. Okay. Now, as you can see, that is a kill shot, though not perfect, but slight hurry there. So I will put the score on in writing. Okay, our next objective is to see how many rounds we can put into the target, into the kill zone, in 5 seconds. Now, I'm going to run this by timer, so we will know. So let's proceed. Alright. Now, that looks like all of those hit into the kill zone, though very little into the bullseye. I was kind of rushing myself, I apologize, but as you can see, clumped together pretty fast. Now that should be about, that was all 9 rounds. So we're going to score that at 100. It can drop 9 rounds out of 10. So we're going to score that at 90. Forgive me. It's going to be a 90 in controllability. Because our criteria is set for 10 rounds in 5 seconds for a perfect 100. So anyway, that brings us to our next piece of criteria, which is it night ready? Majority of concealed carry incidents happen at night. Does this have night options? Now you'll say, well, most guns do. Yes, most guns do. But some guns don't. And this to me is a pretty big criteria. So we're going to go back to our scoring. Forgive me, zoom out. And say that obviously this one does. The stealth is available with night sights. There they are. In fact, these are Wilson combat night sights, and they glow in 2 different colors. Green in the rear, yellow in the front. Or vice versa. I think I got it right though. And so we're going to tack on a free 100 points. Now a lot of guns will get this free 100 points. Some will not though. There are some guns that are not night ready. You have to make an actual slight marksmanship. That brings us to our final criteria. The criteria is value. What are you getting when you buy a Wilson Combat Stealth? The answer is a lot, but you're paying a lot. This gun's price sheet placed it out at $4,500. Then I even threw in some additional money for Harrison Design thin grips, which I really like. But I'll do a separate video on that. Anyway, this entire gun is fully dehorned. It's all hand done. It's very well thought out. Notice the grooves on the rear sight to stop any light from behind you reflecting into your eyes. It's got fully tuned recoil and sear engagement. Everything about it is hand done. But this is a custom shop gun. This is not a standard production off the factory line firearm. So with that said, it's going to cost you a lot. Again, it was $4,500 is what the price spec sheet costs. Now, are stated. Anyway, that said, $4,500 is a lot of money. There are other guns that are functional, fully functional, and fully reliable, and they don't cost $4,500. So it's going to take a hit for that, even though I believe you're getting what you pay for, especially since right behind it goes Wilson Combat's premier customer support. And I can tell you firsthand, after talking to them a few times about several different things, including upgrades, they're a top-notch act. Well worth their salt, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to rate this at an 85. It got docked because it is quite expensive. But it's worth it, in my opinion. So, that said, I guess we will move on to the total. Okay, for our grand total, we are coming up with 875 points out of a possible 1,000 points. Now, like I said, it took a pretty big dock in its bullet cost, as well as its bullet selection. It got docked pretty heavy for those because 38 Super is just not quite as available, though there are options. Like I said, Corbon is an option. Wilson Combat makes 38 Super for people. So there are options, but again, they're costly. So you get that. Anyway, to go through the criteria one by one again, that's 100 full points for its power. It's right in the zone we want to be at for stopping assailants or dogs or whatever might be trying to kill you or somebody you love. It's 70 for its bullet selection, 60 for its bullet cost, 90 for its versatility. It's got its full 100 points for its night capability, 80 points for concealment, because it is not a micro, it is larger and heavier, but it made up from that on its control. It's very controllable. I scored it a full 90 because, again, our criteria is to have 10 shots in 5 seconds. So it scored 9 in 5 seconds, so that was a 90. Its first shot scored a full 100 points. It was within 2 seconds. That's what we are aiming for. That is with 1.5 second reaction time with a half second action. That is what we're going for. Next is the value. It took a little bit of a hit at 85 because it is quite expensive. Though I personally believe you get what you pay for with Wilson Combat. It is expensive. And our final is reliability. It got its full 100 points. 1911s are renowned for reliability, and Wilson Combat is renowned for making amazing 1911s. And with this is no exception. This is an amazing gun and an absolutely accurate and reliable gun.
So again, that brings us to our total of 875. So it scored rather high. And thank you. This is Mur171. I'm going to try to keep these videos coming because I think they would be helpful for people looking to decide on what gun to buy. And I'm going to sign off now. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to leave me some comments. Appreciate it. Thank you. Goodbye.